starting.
Right. Hello, everyone. I think we see quite a number of people who are joined. I think there will be a lot more people who will be joining us over the next couple of minutes. Usually, I think must be a bit of a brain fatigue with webinars and live sessions by now, but I'm so grateful that all of you guys took the time and joined. So this is the first of many sessions that we thought we will roll out as part of John Keells IT. I mean, we have the privilege of being part of a large conglomerate, and as a result, there's a lot of new technologies that we get to play with and we have implemented. And I think sometimes our mistake is that most of the companies and people don't even know that we have been playing with and we have deployed and implemented some of these stuff. Some of them are Asia Pacific first. So when our Azure journey had been one of those really phenomenal journeys, we are very proud that we are probably one of the very first and one of the largest customers for Azure as of today for Microsoft New Markets geography. And one of the things we realized is that, and constantly customers have been keep asking us, is that, is Azure really the cost effective? Going to cloud, is that really cost effective versus, the age-old hardware 5-year capex type of thinking? And I think oftentimes people, initially it was given that going to cloud is cheaper, and eventually there were a lot of questions asked. And oftentimes the people who ask these questions, what they have failed to do was to do this ongoing iterations and optimization that really enabled them to get the cost advantages and the benefits that was on offer for Azure. We believe that with our skill set and capability over the last X number of years of working with Azure, that we have done quite a lot of work in ensuring that our cost justifications and benefits are intact while we continuously move to Azure. Today, out of John Keells group, almost over 50% of LOB runs on Azure, and this is only going to get accelerated as a result of this current scenario. So today I have these amazing 3 presenters and the senior technical leads from our team, Tarindu, Visita, and Tarushi. And what they are going to do is to take you through a session full of insight and know-how about how we are doing this Azure cost optimization and some of the things you can do. So my first request is that please make sure that you keep your things, your screens mute for everyone, simply because we can pick a bit of a bad background noises, including for the speakers who are not going to be live. And also use the Q&A session really well, so that you guys have the opportunity to ask any questions, and our 3 facilitators or one of our team members can get back to you of any specific questions. I believe there will be a Q&A session at the end. It all depends on how much of a time we'll utilize, but in case you are unable to get your question through to us to ask live, please make sure that you use the Q&A panel on your right hand side if you're facing the monitor. So these are some of the things that I wanted to just tell you. We are very proud to be a Microsoft Gold certificate. Again, thank you for joining us. I'd like to hand this session over to Tarindu. Tarindu, over to you, mate.
Okay, thank you, Rohan. Today I'm going to talk about IaaS, like infrastructure as service. So let me brief about me. My name is Tarindu Gunaratna. I am working as a senior consultant technology at John Keells IT. I have 10 years plus experience in the industry, and I am also a Microsoft certified trainer. And my expert areas are Office 365 and Azure. So today we are going to explain about 3 components. Actually, this is our learning objective for today. The first part is Azure cost management, and what are the tools which we can use and related features of them, and solution optimization. This is very important because we can use all those tools, but we have to optimize our solution. Then only we can get the exact benefit of the cost management. Okay, now I think you are clear about our learning objectives, so we can move ahead. So in these days, not only these days, if we are talking about a cloud investment, so what will be the main factor It can be security, it can be latency, but money, the investment can be a critical factor when we are going to a cloud investment. So if you are going to invest on cloud, then these are the three parties who involving with an investment. Cloud engineers, these are the people who are doing that implementation in the ground, and the finance, they are the people who are monitoring, they are the people who are auditing, and the management. These are the people who are taking decisions to go with cloud migration or cloud implementation. So as you know, first of all, we have to have the visibility. If you are going to optimize, this is the process. If you are going to optimize the investment, then this will be the process. First one is we have to have the visibility about the expenses and the usage. Then only we can accountable some party. Based on that accountability, then we can plan, and then only we can go for an optimization. Otherwise, if we don't have that visibility, if we don't have that accountability, then we can't achieve that optimal target. That means we can't optimize our cloud investment. As you know, in Azure, we can assign tags for cost centers, for departments, or individuals. So we can accountable Azure resources or virtual machines to relevant department or the cost center. Then we can go for planning. So today we are going to explain about this cycle, and my other two colleagues will explain about how to optimize. Optimize means solution optimization. They will talk about solution optimization, which related to PaaS and SaaS. So here I am going to talk about the visibility, accountability, and planning. So we can go ahead. What is right sizing? I think you may know. Now, let's say now this is not related to Azure, this is not related to cloud, or this is not related to any VM. This is related to air conditioning a room. So we have a room with 200 square feet, and we are going to implement an air conditioner to the room. So if we have that kind of a room, then what will be the right size? As you saw, the right size is 7,000 BTU, but someone can implement an air conditioner with 10,500 BTU. But what will happen if you are going to implement that kind of a air conditioner to a room like 200 square feet? Then there will be a huge waste, because this is designed for 400 square feet room. So like that, we have to think about those kind of sizing when we are going to cloud migration or a cloud project. Now, this room size is 10,000 BTU, but if you are going to apply a air conditioner to here, then we don't need to go for this air conditioner. What is right sizing VMs? Okay. As you know, the traditional approach to migration, I mean from on-premise to cloud, is server to server. That means you are provisioning a same kind of a server in cloud. Let's say you have a server with 64 GB RAM and 2 TB hard disk and 16 CPUs. So you are provisioning the same kind of a VM in the cloud with same configuration. So that is the server to server migration, but we call it traditional approach, because now as in the initial stage we thought like this is safe and this is very easy, but this is not cost effective. Why? We can go for some optimized solution other than the server to server migration. So let me go through this slide, then you can realize what is the theory behind this. Okay. Do you know what are reserved instance? Reserved instance means it has a sunk cost. That means that cost we can't retrieve because it already sunk. So let's say we already have a warehouse, but for that warehouse we have to pay per day charge. Let's say 1,200 USD per day, and we are paying for 24 hours because we are paying for a day, and the size of the warehouse is 1,000 square feet. Let's say we are storing fresh goods like fish, meats, and vegetables. Our peak times are 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. We are utilizing 100% within that period. But after 6 a.m., there's no goods and there's no products in this warehouse because this is a warehouse which designed for fresh goods. So this is an example for your understanding. So we are delivering our items and there's no goods after 6 a.m. So there's no need to maintain this warehouse after 6, but we are going for a per day charge. Then we have to pay for the day. But here you can see we are using only 8 hours, but we are paying for the day for 24 hours. But let me go through that pay-as-you-go solution. Warehouse is same and the time duration is also same, 10 to 6 a.m. But here the difference is you are going to pay the per hour charge. Per hour means $100 per hour. Then how many hours that you need to pay? You need to pay for only 8 hours because we are using that warehouse after 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. So you don't need to pay for the whole day. Then you can use that warehouse for $800. Okay. Now, if you are coming to the Azure resources or cloud resources, then sometimes that reserved instance can be cheap. Sometimes pay-as-you-go can cheap. We can't say reserved instance is cheap and then pay-as-you-go or vice versa. So we can't say that. Why we can't say that? I'll explain it through this example. Let's say we have a reserved instance. We have to pay $1,200 per day, but we have a pay-as-you-go resource. The same resource we can go for pay-as-you-go. Then we can go for $100 per hour. So let's go through this example. Now here we are using that resource for 8 hours per day. Then reserved instance is actually pay-as-you-go is cheaper than reserved instance because if you are going with reserved instance, the cost will be $1,200. But if you are going with pay-as-you-go, the cost will be $800 per day. Per day means for that 8 hours. If you are going to run our resource for 12 hours, what will be happen? Then both costs will be same because if you are going with RI, the cost will be 1,200. And if you are going with pay-as-you-go, the cost will be 1,200 because we have 12 hours. But if you are going for 16 hours, that means RI is cheaper than pay-as-you-go. Because if you are going with pay-as-you-go, then you have to pay $1,600 per day. Per day means for 16 hours. So I think now you have some idea about what is reserved instance and what is pay-as-you-go and how we can get the cheapest solution. I mean cheapest method for your resources. Now let me go through Azure reserved instance. First point is flexible payment plan. That means you can go for a upfront payment or you can go for monthly payments. I'll show you with the Azure calculator. And in the same series, you can scale up or scale down without any additional commitment. Sure, I'm explaining that point also in my next slide, so don't worry. And here, the third point is bigger the VM, bigger the RI discount. That means if you have a bigger VM, that means with higher configuration, then your discount will be bigger. Definitely, it will be a bigger discount if you are going with RI. And the fourth point is, if disks are more than 1 TB, then you can get the discount. I'll show you with the Azure calculator, then you can realize it. Okay, now let me explain the second point. In the same series, you can scale up, scale down without any further commitment. So series is this. Now I think you are familiar with Azure VM series, but if you are not familiar, let's say this is a VM, this is a predefined virtual machine series. As an example, I took EAV4 series. Under that EAV4 series, we have those machines, those predefined virtual machines. Now you can realize that in the first one we have 2 vCPUs, and the second one we have 4 vCPUs. Likewise, it's increasing. So if we need to increase our resource, I mean, if we need to, let's say we are using that E4A underscore V41, this one, and we need to upgrade our server to this one, then there will be no additional commitment. This is the commitment for this series. As an example, we are agreeing a commitment for $1,000 with Microsoft, and within that commitment we can utilize our resource. We can upscale and downscale. So I think you have the idea that which I already explained. Now, if we are going to change this series, okay, let me explain that situation. Now, if we are going with the same series, then without any additional commitment, we can upscale the VM. Okay, and if you are going to a different series like ESV3 series, then we have to agree for a second commitment. Second means a separate commitment. Then if we are moving our VM to here means to this VM, then we have to pay this commitment plus this commitment. If we are going with both series, then we have to pay both commitments if we are going with reserved instance. So it will be a benefit because sometimes we need to upscale our VM due to some workloads or throughputs. Okay, now I'm explaining about discounts and payment plans for virtual machines. So here now I already provisioned the VM in M series. Now here you can select, the first option is pay as you go, and the second option is 1 year reserved instance. Here you can see you can have 49% of discount, and you can go for 3 years RI, then you can save 75%. And from this drop down, you can go for monthly payments, or otherwise you can go for an upfront payment and pay monthly. So likewise, we can control our payment plan. We can select our payment plan. There are options, so it's very flexible to a business. You can use those features to get the discount, and from here also you have payment plans. So I think now we are clear about RI discounts and payment plans. And here I'm talking about discounts for storages more than 1 TB. From here I selected the storage which is more than or equal to 1 TB, and from here I selected premium SSD. For now, actually this discount is for premium SSD, but near future it will comes with Ultra SSD also. But here you can see those options. One is pay as you go, but if you are going with 1 year reserved instance, then there will be a 5% discount. See, likewise you can use those kind of discount plans when you are provisioning a VM. Okay, now let me explain about, now I think you know about reserved instance. RI, what is RI? And what are the benefits of RI? What are the discounts? What are the payment plans? Now you have that idea. Now I'm going to explain about the service, explain about RI plus Azure Hybrid benefit. According to the Microsoft, they are telling save up to 82% with RIs and Azure Hybrid benefit. That means you can save up to 82% if you are going with RI and Azure Hybrid benefit when comparing with pay as you go. So let me explain about that. Cost saving versus pay as you go. If you are going with only with reserved instance, the saving will be 72%. But if you are using your Azure Hybrid benefit, then saving will be 82%. Now you know what is reserved instance. Let me explain about Azure Hybrid benefit. But now here you can realize that if you are going with RI and if you are going with Azure Hybrid benefit, then we can go for 82% of saving. So what is Azure Hybrid benefit? Now as businesses, you are purchasing Windows Server licenses and Windows SQL Server licenses. It's an investment for you because if you are purchasing those kind of licenses, then there will be a software assurance also. So likewise, you can actually sometimes those licenses are capex investments. So when let's say you purchased your server licenses and SQL licenses at 2018 December, but in 2020 January you are deciding to migrate your workload to Azure Cloud. So what you are going to do with your existing licenses? Don't worry, you can use your existing Windows Server license and existing SQL Server license with Azure Hybrid benefit. You don't need to throw them out. You can utilize those licenses and you can get the benefit. You can get the benefit, and there will be a saving which is near to 40%. I'm planning to explain this with the Azure calculator. So let me explain it in next few slides. And here I'm talking about B-series VMs. This is for burstable workloads. We can go through this example. So I provisioned a VM in D series, which is D16S V3, has 16 vCPUs, 64 GB RAM, and this is the VM. Monthly cost will be $673 US. But if you are going with B series VM with same configuration, monthly cost will be $547 US. Then you can see there is a 15% of saving. But actually this is not for this VM is designed for a workload which occasionally require high performance or throughput. That means actually this is not suitable for some kind of production environments, because we can't control the throughput, or we can't in some production environment, so we can't use these kind of series. If you have any system which occasionally require high performance, then you can go for B series VM, or you can use B series VM for your development environments. That's the recommendation from Microsoft. So let me explain about Azure Spot VMs. So this is also a newly introduced option. What's the difference between normal virtual machine and a Spot VM? So in a Spot VM, we can if you have a system doing batch processings in a day for let's say for 10 minutes, after then there will be no that kind of a workload, then you can go with Spot VMs. When you are going to create a VM, then there will be selection for Azure Spot instance. So from here you can select yes, then that VM will be provisioned as a Spot VM. So here you can set a policy to stop or deallocate that VM. Otherwise, you can set a price. I mean, you can set two limitations. One is capacity and the second one is price or capacity. Then you can set a budget. You can set a maximum price you want to pay per hour. Then after then you can stop the VM. So actually this system, this VM is suitable for a workload like let's say you have a job process, but once it stops, then you can start it later. So for those kind of things, you can use that feature. Or other than that, you can use this feature for a system like let's say we have a system, we have a banking system which processing weekly. So within a week, we are running once that batch. So then it goes to the idle level. So for those kind of systems, we can use Azure Spot VMs. These are the recommendations. We can use that Spot VMs for batch jobs and development and test. So likewise, we can use that. And this is my last point in my part. Azure Cost Management. Azure Cost Management is a portal to explain and to get the visibility about your Azure resources. By using that portal, you can get advices, you can set budgets, and you can monitor. So by using this portal, you can go for planning. You can have the visibility. Okay, then you can optimize the investment. So let me go through. And the important part, this is free. Microsoft is giving that portal, that cost management portal, totally free. So if you are comparing with some other cloud solutions, so they have those kind of solutions, but you have to pay some amount of money for those kind of cost management portals. So these are the three parts in Azure Cost Management Portal. One is cost analysis, and the second one is budgets and advice recommendations. So there are three options. Let me go through one by one. How you can go to Azure Cost Management. Go to Azure Portal, then go to subscriptions, and from there you can see there's a component called Cost Management. Under this Cost Management, as we explained, there are three components. One is cost analysis, budgets, and advice recommendations. Under cost analysis, here this is actually I generated this report on 17th of April. So you can see the usage for the month, and you can see there is a red color area. That means this is my budget. Now in 17th, I can see if you are going with the same workload, same usage, then I am going to exceed my budget on 21st of April. So that kind of insight I can get by using this cost analysis, and from here I can filter for my any kind of a if I have some tags for cost centers, then I can generate this report for my cost center or a department. So from here, this is my usage, and this is the forecasting. As I explained to you, this is my budget. Okay, and these are the details, like what is the service. Now for storage, I am paying $747 For virtual machines, I am paying $611 Likewise, I can categorize that cost by service and the location. If you have some locations other than Southeast Asia, then you can monitor that also. From here, you can go for resource groups, because we are monitoring our resources by using our resource groups. Then we can go with resource groups. Then we can compare the cost. Okay, now as I explained to you, I already set a budget like this, but today is 22. So today I got this email by saying that you have an alert for budget 1. Now your total spend was the budget 1 is now 1,900, exceeding your specific threshold of 1,800. So let me explain about that first. Now like this, let's say we have that budget for 2000K, 2K, but from here we can set a threshold. So you can send that threshold to your CFO, your chairman. Likewise, you can send those thresholds. Then they can think about those kind of optimizations. Then they will guide you to reduce the cost. You can downsize your VMs. You can check your workloads, and you can downscale your resources. Likewise, you can take actions. So let me explain how to set a budget in cost management portal in Azure. Now this is the notification. These are the budgets. Now as I explained to you before, there will be 3 options. One is cost analysis, the second one is budget, and the third one is advice recommendations. Now I am in budgets part. Now here I already configured 2 budgets. Both are monthly, because we can set quarterly, we can set annually, or we can set monthly, and we can set the start date and the end date and the budget. This is the current spend, because I took those screenshots on 17th of April. So from here we can see the progress also. What is the utilization versus the budget? So let me go through. Now here this is the window when we are going to set the scope and create the budget. So from here we can use tags. So as I explained to you, if you used some tags for your VMs, it can be resource groups, it can be departments or project names. So you can use those tags to set a budget. By using this feature, you can change the scope and you can press that add filter button. Then this budget will be applied for that filtered resource group, or based on your condition. So now I am going to create a budget. From here you can set a unique name, and from here you can select like quarterly, monthly or annually. And if you are going with annually, then there is a there's a feature to change your fiscal year, because some companies are using different fiscal years. So if you are going with some other fiscal year, so you can change it from here. And here you can set your budget amount. There will be a suggested budget because it's based on the forecast. This is the forecast. Let me explain about that. Okay, if you are coming to the monthly cost data, now this is the cost. Now we are in the April month. So you can see there's a box here. So that means this is a forecasted figure, and these 5 pillars are also forecasted. So how Azure did that? So they analyzed our previous and historical data and comes to that decision. So likewise, we can use those figures to set a budget. Okay, now I am coming to the third option, which is advice recommendation. So from here, these are the 3 actual recommendations which comes to one of our portal. So from here, it has the impact high or the medium, and from here you can see there are descriptions: right size or shut down underutilized virtual machines. or delete public IP addresses not associated to a running Azure resources. Likewise, there can be resources which not using. So that can be happen. So you can remove those resources and you can save money. Now you can see there is that attribute called potential yearly saving. So if we can follow those three recommendations, then we can save up to 30,000 US dollars. See the saving? So you can follow those recommendations. Let me go into one recommendation and explain to you. I am going to this highlighted one. Shut down or resize your virtual machine. Now here I can see there are 3 VMs, but see the CPU usage below 5%. So why we are provisioning that kind of a VM for these three VMs? Because we are not using at least 5%. So we can resize those VMs. See, there are recommendations also. We can resize this VM to this series. So we can do that by using this recommendation, and this will be the potential yearly saving. So now we are moving to the next part. Now here we can, as I explained to you, if we used those resource groups, then we can filter and we can set the scope for that specific resource group. So let me explain about one practical scenario which we already implemented in our tenant, in one of our tenant. So let me go through. I filtered one of my resource group, and this is the forecasted cost for that resource group. Now here, can you see there is a reduction? Like this is the actual usage, this is the forecasted value, but here there is a reduction. I generated this report for 7 days. Now you can see that curve got changed, got reduced. So how can we do that? Okay, now let's say this is a resource group which having 2 virtual machines. So let's say we can reduce, I mean we can downscale those VMs based on that recommendations. Then we can save that amount of money. See, this is the forecasted value, but the actual value is reducing gradually. So you can see that. So likewise, you can use that portal to save your investment, to maximize your investment. So last but not least, I'm going to recap the session. Okay, these are the cost optimization strategies which already discussed within last 30 minutes. First one is reserved instance, and you already know about pay as you go. Now we already compared RI versus pay as you go, and right sizing, remove underutilized resources, and Azure hybrid benefit. Now you know how to utilize your already purchased licenses when you are moving to the cloud, and Azure cost management. You know the benefit of Azure cost management portal. Now you know how to use it, and what are B series VMs and spot VMs. Solution optimization via re-architecture. So let my two colleagues let Visita and Tarushi to explain about solution optimization in SaaS and PaaS. So Tarushi, over to you. Thank you. All.
Hi everyone, I'm Tarushi Talagala. I work as an associate consultant at John Kears IT. So my session is going to be on cost optimization for SQL databases and the value of Azure reserved instances. So first of all, why Azure SQL databases? Running SQL Server or other database servers on Azure can get expensive quickly. So VMs are expensive, and you will often find that database instances are underutilized. And it is not straightforward to distribute loads between your instances, just like in your old on-premise deployments. In most of the cases, transitioning to a PaaS model, for example, moving from SQL Server instances to the Azure SQL service will result in dramatic reduction of cost because you're paying only for actual database resources used. So these are the deployment options available for Azure SQL databases. Single databases, elastic pools, and managed instances. So single databases have their own set of resources and it is managed by a single database server. But elastic pools, several databases share set number of resources at set price. So the common way is to provision single database for each customer, but different customers often have varying and unpredictable usage patterns, and it's difficult to predict the resource requirement for each user. So traditionally, you had two options, either to over-provision resources based on the peak usage and overpay for it, or to under-provision it, so to save the cost. So this was at the expense of performance and the customer satisfaction. So you can prevent this by using elastic pools. So Azure elastic pools are simple and cost-effective. So elastic pools let you purchase resources for a pool which is shared by multiple databases to provide for the unpredictable periods of usage, and therefore the cost can be shared and optimized. So these are the benefits of Azure elastic pools. So it provides support on SLA and advanced threat protection. For ATP, for SQL databases, it will be provided by Azure Security Center. That is, if you already have Azure Security Center standard, it will provide ATP for SQL databases. DevTest pricing is also available. So this is available for Visual Studio subscribers. So if you are an active Visual Studio subscriber, then you can get a discount up to 55% for Azure SQL databases. So these are the purchasing models available for elastic pools. One is VCO based, the other one is DTO based. So VCO based purchasing model is best if you are looking for flexibility, control, and transparency of individual resource consumption. So this model allows you to scale compute, memory, and storage based on your workload needs. And also it is a straightforward way to translate your on-premises workload into the cloud. So general purpose is for scalable storage and compute options, starting at just $187 per month, and business critical for high transaction rate and high resiliency. So it is important that you choose between these two tiers according to your requirements and your cost constraints. Just because business critical seems like the better option, you should not go for it. And you need to understand that general purpose is also a better option and it has scalability and reduced cost. So DTU based. A fixed set of resources is assigned to the database or elastic pool via these models: basic, standard, and premium. So basic is for less demanding workloads with a maximum storage per database up to 2 GB. And standard is for workloads with typical performance requirements. That is for the storage, it is about 1 TB. For IO intensive workloads, you can choose premium. You can go up to storage 1 TB, and if you want to exceed, you can for an additional cost. So choosing the correct pool size depends on the aggregate resources needed. So it involves determining the maximum number of resources utilized by the pool and the maximum storage bytes utilized by the databases. So for minimizing costs, you can also use serverless SQL databases. This is a compute tier for single databases. It also automatically scales compute based on the workload demand and also builds the amount of compute per second. So when the compute usage is between minimum and maximum limits configured, the compute cost is based on the VCO and memory use. When the compute usage is below the minimum limits, the cost is based on the minimum VCOs and minimum memory configured. So when the database is paused, the compute cost is 0. So serverless can only provide up to 16 VCOs and 48 GB memory. So if your requirement is higher than that, you have to get provisioned. So it can go up to 80 cores and 408 GB of memory. So these are the available configurations for provisioned. So the other available option for Azure SQL databases is the Azure Managed Instances. It reduces the ongoing administration costs because you do not have to manage any virtual machines, operating systems, or database software. Also, you do not have to manage the upgrades, high availability, or backups. So overall, it is optimized to reduce the management costs for a set of databases. So as you can see, it is better to provision a general purpose elastic pool than a single provision database. And also in an elastic pool, you can have more than one database. So you can go to this link for more information on pricing for Azure SQL databases. So now I'm going to explain on the value of Azure reserved instances. So I'm going to refresh your memory on what Tharindu mentioned in his presentation and add some more to it. So Azure reserved instances were introduced for active customers to save on long-term usage. So you, by committing to 1 or 3 year benefit, you can save up to 72% of the standard pricing. So despite the required upfront commitment, RI does not lock you into a rigid or fixed long-term structure. Rather, it's quite flexible and allows users to make ongoing adjustments or even cancel the service with minimum downside. So this is the pay-as-you-go pricing for the D2 V3 instance. This is a screenshot from the Azure calculator, pricing calculator. So the pay-as-you-go price, as you can see, it's $158. For the same VM instance, the 3-year reserved instance price is $100. And if you already have the licenses, you can use the Azure hybrid benefit and save some more. So here's the cost difference for a single VM per month. So you can save up to $60 every month. So in the long run, this can be significant, and also bigger the VM, bigger the RI cost benefit. So reservations are available for virtual machines, and reservation only covers the virtual machine compute cost, not the additional software, Windows, networking, or storage charges. For Azure storage, the reservation covers the storage capacity for standard storage accounts for blob storages and Azure Data Lake Gen 2 storages, but not the bandwidth or the transaction cost. So Azure Cosmos DB covers the throughput provision for your resources. It doesn't cover the storage and the networking charges. So Azure SQL database reserved VCO. Here also only the compute costs are included, not the SQL license. It will be billed separately. Then Azure SQL data warehouse. The reservation only covers the compute data warehouse units or CDW usage, not the networking charges associated or the data warehouse usage. So Azure Databricks. The reservation covers the DBU usage or the Databricks units usage. Other charges like compute, storage, and networking are applied separately. So Azure databases for MySQL, PostgreSQL, and MariaDB, only the compute costs are included with the reservation, and the reservation will not be covering the software, networking, or storage charges. Azure disk storage reservations. So this only covers the premium SSD of P30 size or greater, not any other smaller disk or other disk types. So Azure Data Explorer, the reservation covers the markup charges. Doesn't apply to compute, networks, or storage. As for Azure Dedicated Host, only the compute costs are included. So what to purchase? All reservations except Azure Databricks are applied on an hourly basis. So you can determine which reservation to purchase by analyzing your usage data. The recommendations are available in Azure Advisor, reservation purchase experience in the Azure portal, cost management, Power BI app, and in the APIs. Thank you. Now I will be handing over the presentation to my colleague, Isita Galhen.
Hello everyone. I'm Visita Galhena, Associate Consultant for Microsoft Solutions and Services. My expert areas are Azure and Azure Stack. Today my topics are Azure Cost Optimization using App Services and DevTest Labs. Let's move to first topic. What is Azure App Service? Azure App Service is a platform, PaaS-based platform for hosting websites. In here, you don't need to create servers for hosting your applications. That is automatically done by your Azure Service Fabric backend. You can provision app service within less than 5 minutes. And app service support .NET, .NET Core, Java, Ruby, Node.js, PHP, Python programming languages. Let's consider what is the difference between on-premises and platform as a service. In on-premises environment, you have to manage all of these things like network, virtualization, middleware, operating system, like that. For those kind of components, you have to have certified network engineers, certified system engineers, and developers and implementation engineers. But when you come to PaaS environment, only you are responsible for your data and your code. In here, you don't need any network engineer or system engineers. In organizational end, you are having less organization has less infrastructure management and cost. Let's check what are the features available on app service. I'm not going to highlight them all. First one is connectors. Connectors are most important feature available on app service that you can use to connect your app service with external components like on-premises databases, SAP, Oracle database, IBM databases, like that, and serverless code execution. With Azure Functions, you can execute your code without having a server. You don't want to purchase a server to execute your code. Only you have to pay for your execution time and CPU memory that used for the execution. And other one is web jobs. Web jobs is you can using web jobs you can run background application without additional cost. These are the most important features that Azure App Service have. Let's see what are the available purchasing options. There are 6 purchasing options like free, shared, basic, standard, premium, and isolated. In standard purchasing option, you can use this standard tier for hosting production workloads. You are getting unlimited, you can host unlimited web services. You are getting 50 GB of disk space, and you can scale up to maximum 10 instances. When you go to isolated tier, that is the most performance tier. In that tier, you can host unlimited applications. You are getting 1 TB of disk space, and you can scale up to 100 instances. Isolated tier, when comparing the cost, isolated tier has high cost rather than other tiers. The specialty is in isolated tier, you are getting dedicated instance for your application. That instance is not shared with other users or tenants. That means, assume you want to travel to Kandy, you can travel by using bus, or you can travel using your own vehicle. If you travel by bus, you have to go with others. But if you have your own vehicle, you can travel alone. In isolated tier, you are getting that dedicated instance. It's not shared with any one of the app service users. Let's see how to do the cost optimization on Azure App Service. Like Tarundu explained earlier, you can use Azure Advisor cost recommendation to reduce the cost. And second point is the right sizing. When you purchasing PaaS or IaaS environment solution from cloud, you need to select the right size. Otherwise, that become a waste for you. Then after you deploying some application on PaaS environment, you can check what type of how is the usage of your application using performance charts. Then you can identify if the app service is overutilized or not. If it is overutilized, you can decrease the allocated resources for that app service to reduce the cost. Most important feature is auto scaling. In here, you can see that graph of the app service that is taken by production app for 24 hours. You can see between 7 PM and 7 AM, the usage is very low. But you already purchased app service, and you already allocated hardware to the app service instance, but they are not using. If you can decrease your server instances within off hours, you can reduce lots of money. Then that become end of the month, it's become a great saving to you. The other one is app service have low administrative costs. Only you need to responsible for your data and your code. And one other important feature is deployment slots. Assume you have published a website called production.website.com, and you also get another new version from developers that developers and QA people already tested. But before deploying it into the production, you need to do the test. For that, you don't need to purchase another app service plan or purchase another IaaS server to host that application and do the testing. You can create deployment slot using your existing app service and deploy that new version of that website on staging.website.com. And you can do the testing because it's getting another domain name, not the production one. After you completed testing, you can load balance your request to existing production to the new one. Using that method, you can easily do the new version deployments also. When you are purchasing isolated app service plans, if you can purchase that plan for 3 years, that become great savings for you. In isolated app service plan, you are having Linux and Windows based app service plan. If you purchase one of them for 3 years, you can save up to 40%. This is not discount, this is a saving. And the newest addition to app service is containers. App service has normal standard instance for hosting applications, and you can purchase containers for hosting your application. Containers, while using containers, you can get more discount, more saving for your hosting environment. In C, in normal plan, one ACU price is $0.6.9. In container plan, one ACU price is $0.4.3. Let's see in first container plan, PC3 plan having 640 ACU and 16 GB of memory. Monthly cost is $278. In normal plan, 420 ACU with 7 GB of memory. That monthly cost is $292. In here, ACU means Azure Compute Unit. Using app service container plan, you can get more savings for hosting your applications. In container plan, you can purchase for hosting Linux application and Windows application both. My second topic is Azure DevTest Labs.
Ishita, can you use full screen mode?
It's not. Sorry guys, something went wrong here. I can't share with the full screen mode. Sorry for that. So my second topic is DevTest Labs. Let's check what is the DevTest Labs. DevTest organizations are spending lots of money for development and testing purposes. DevTest Labs is a sandbox environment that you can quickly create DevTest environment while minimizing waste and controlling cost. That include infrastructure as a service and platform as a service features. But DevTest Labs, you can't use all the Azure features that are available. Let's see what are the available features on DevTest Labs. In DevTest Labs, while you creating the lab, you can define which number of what number of VMs that they can create, what are the VM sizes, what are the images, operating systems that they can use, and you can integrate your DevTest Labs with CI/CD tools. And for create infrastructure on DevTest Labs, you no need to wait for getting approval for system administrators or other IT admin people, because you already define what are the things that they can provision and what are the sizes. Let's see how to do the cost optimization with DevTest Labs. You can run Windows and SQL servers VMs without software charge. Only you have to pay for the VM and disk space that you have used. And you can get 55% discount for SQL databases. And you can get 50% discount for logic caps. And VM auto stop function using VM start and stop functioning. You can reduce more costs using DevTest Labs. And you can assign custom policies by restricting different people for creating unwanted things on your DevTest Labs. Due to only selected marketplace items available on the DevTest Labs, we can reduce unwanted purchasing from the marketplace items. Let's see price difference of normal pay-as-you-go method and DevTest Lab method. Let's in first image you can see the VM size is D13 for V2 for CPU and 56 GB of RAM. Running hours 730. In first plan, you can see licensing program is DevTest Lab. Monthly cost rate $560. In the second image, you can see same VM for same running hours. The cost is 860. Licensing method is pay as you go. In here, I compare the price differences. If assume that you are running that VM on Southeast Asia for 6 months. For 6 months, pay as you go price is $5,200 US for 6 months. If you purchase it from the DevTest Labs, your cost reduced to $3,300 US. For that 6 months, you can save in US dollars 1,800 and in LKR 360,000. So our presentation is over. I summarize what are the things that we discussed within today's session. We discussed how to reduce the cost with using IaaS and resource instances using SQL, Elastic Pool, and PaaS-based SQL purchasing option, and app service plan and DevTest Labs. If you have any questions, please put them on chat. We will answer them for you.
Yeah, thank you, Visita, for doing that, and I really appreciate it. There have been some questions I think we answered in the Q&A, kind of panel, if you can see. So immediately after this session, also, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. You can reach out to any of the speakers, or you can send an email to me or to anyone. I think I'm not sure whether we had a slide on email. So my email is rohan@johnkeelsit.com. So send it to me and I will connect you with whoever is required. So thank you so much for joining. I think we had a pretty decent audience today. And then we basically will have another session for another audience very soon. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, team, for the great job presentation. And I look forward to meeting all of you very soon. Thank you.